Straight ahead on 12 News, biting into the budget at the Capitol. How everything from alcohol to clothing is back on the tax table. Plus, itching to swing into spring. How our winter like April is impacting local golf courses. But first, a local general sheds light on a problem that has plagued the military.
But there's some stuff you just can't tolerate.
12 News starts right now. This month, the Department of Defense released new rules aimed at preventing sexual assaults.
A major general who retired to Wayzata knows firsthand how much the military needs to improve how they deal with sexual assaults. He wrote about it in a new book called The Game and spoke about it today with 12 News reporter Shannon Slatton.
Several people knew what these guys were doing and didn't do anything about it.
Retired Major General Robert Shadley still seems baffled at what happened at a military base in the mid-1990s.
First thing you have to do is follow the chain of command. If you've got a problem, you go to your first line supervisor. Well, when your first line supervisor is rotten, what do?
The two-star general who retired to Wayzata had just started his new job at a Maryland Army base.
I just couldn't believe the stuff.
When he reported a sexual assault problem between instructors and trainees.
That's when I told my higher headquarters, I've got a problem here, and I need to have some outside people to come in and help me look at this. So the expression, I called friendly fire in on my own position.
The scandal made national headlines, resulting in a reprimand that some say was a career ender for Shadley.
I didn't find out about it within 90 days of when I took command. It took me 9 months.
In 1997, Shadley was exonerated, and 3 years later, he retired.
I can get up every morning when I shave and look at myself in the mirror and say, I did the right thing. I with all due respect to some of my superiors, I think some of them may have a hard time doing it.
But Shadley hasn't stopped talking about the issue of sexual assaults in the military and is now releasing a book about it.
There's some stuff you just can't tolerate.
Shadley hopes the story encourages others to always do what's right.
In our society, it's important for all of us to do the right thing.
Shadley expects his book to attract national attention. He emphasizes, though, that this isn't only a military issue. Instead, with sexual predator scandals like the one at Penn State or in the Catholic Church, dealing with sexual assaults properly is a workforce issue that needs to be resolved. And Mike and Alex, it's worthwhile to point out as well that, of course, the military is a very large organization. And even though some of these cases are not reported, Shadley says it's still a small number but important number of people.
So he's a whistleblower in a sense. And
essentially.
Yeah, I would imagine that a lot of military people, former military people too, would like to get their hands on the book.
Yes, and of course you can get it on his website or on Amazon. It's just over $20, but the ebook version is around $10.
All right.
Not bad. Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.
It could cost you a nickel more for a bottle of beer or a drink at the bar. That's if a new bill goes through at the state capitol. State Senator Chris Eaton of Brooklyn Center is proposing a bill that would increase the excise tax on liquor sales. Eaton says the tax increase would help cover the costs and damages associated with alcohol consumption. The bill also aims to reduce underage drinking by making it more expensive. Eaton says alcohol abuse is an epidemic that's often overlooked in our culture.
We're spending over $300 million in court costs, police costs, county costs for treatment and detox, and so it's bankrupting our judicial system.
One critic says the tax increase isn't enough to make a difference in alcohol consumption, and he wondered what's next after tax increases to cigarettes and alcohol. The proposed tax increase could bring in as much as $190 million.
Governor Dayton ditched the idea, but now a local DFL senator is bringing back a proposal to tax clothing and other services in Minnesota. Senator Ann Rest's proposal includes lowering the state sales tax rate to 6%, but expanding the base to include sales tax on all clothing purchases. Lower income families would be eligible for a tax credit. The proposal to tax clothing and other personal services like haircuts and spa services is designed to stabilize and modernize the state sales tax system. Senator Ann Rest of New Hope says broadening the tax base isn't about raising money to fund the government, but rather giving the state a steady, dependable tax system that won't be subject to downturns in the economy.
When you have a broad-based tax and a low rate, it lends itself to a lot of stability within that system, and that is a a broad-based goal for all good tax policy.
Governor Dayton backed away from a similar sales tax proposal earlier this year. The Senate plan gets a hearing on Tuesday. Well, lots of golf enthusiasts are itching to pick up their clubs and get back out on the course.
But as Sonia Goins shows us, it could be a while before golfers are saying four.
Mike and Alex, normally this is one of the first courses in the metro to open up, but with all this white on the ground, it's very hard to open up the greens.
We were real close to being open. We had all the greens pretty much prepared and everything else. Then this happens. It's not good. No.
The folks at New Hope Village Golf Course were all set to open up at the beginning of the month until Mother Nature put that on hold.
Mother Nature's kind of repaying us.
This time last year, golf was already in full swing.
It's a little fall picture, but it really should be what it should be looking at right now.
What a difference a year makes.
But it should be nice and green anyway.
This picture reminds Mark Severson of better days,
Just a little different view.
when the tee times were booked and the grounds were green.
The ice cream coolers are empty.
Last year, the number of people hitting the links was up 5% in Minnesota,
The cold beer is, as you can see, is not quite hooked up yet.
mostly because of all the nice weather.
It's really disappointing.
But even if all the snow melts, it's going to take some time for the course to get ready.
We really haven't had a chance to get a good cleanup on a course, so even when the snow goes, we're still, a week or two into cleanup.
New Hope Village relies heavily on league play,
Most of the stuff is put away and in the boxes.
but the season start is already in jeopardy.
Because of the last couple years have been so nice, I decided to start them this coming week, which obviously if you look out there, we're probably not going to be able to start next week.
The delay could put a dent in their bottom line,
It's going to hurt a little bit.
but once the weather clears,
We got some visors here, we got some t-shirts, some mugs.
it's all systems go.
We'll be ready to be open.
In New Hope, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
April 18th is the latest that the New Hope Village Golf Course has opened for the season. That was back in 2001. Officials are worried they might break that record this year.
Well, who says light switch covers are boring? Local 7th graders came up with switch plates as far as their minds and technology could take them. Students at Brooklyn Junior High had the opportunity to design light switch covers using 3D software. Students spent 2 weeks on the project and received help from employees at Boston Scientific. Teacher Ross Winberg designed the project so students weren't creating something for themselves, but for another student.
So they got to, have conversations with the other student, asking them what they wanted out of their switch. And so it's sort of a client designer relationship.
An Eden Prairie company called Red Eye printed out the designs using its cutting-edge 3D printing service. Well, it's probably a perfect weekend to stay indoors and catch up on a movie.
Up next in Weekend Showcase, we'll preview a movie made by area students. And later in sports, we'll hear from the new boys hockey coach over at Maple Grove High School.
But first, our unforgiving April continues. Your AccuWeather forecast shows a rather chilly, windy weekend in store.
If you're in the mood for a movie, skip the Hollywood blockbusters and check out something a little more homegrown.
Well, this weekend, the Perpich Center for Arts Education is screening short films produced by students from all over the state. 12 News reporter Renee Bonneau has more on the Youth Cinema Showcase in today's Weekend Showcase.
Seth, I need to talk to you.
A sibling's desperate plea kicks off a 6-minute cinema thriller titled Sister.
I need to see you, Seth. Visit me, please.
The movie is about a brother who keeps dreaming of his sister who needs to contact him. The creators didn't just make the film as a hobby, it was homework.
It was our narrative unit at school.
Greta Goldstein, Jordan West, and 3 other students from Perpich worked hard for about a month, writing, shooting, and editing this movie.
I was kind of one of the people that just did stuff that needed to get done. I helped hold lights, I held booms, I moved stuff when it needed moving.
It's a lot of work, but it's like what we live for.
Now, months after getting a grade, their movie is up for critique again, this time by a broader audience at the 2nd annual Cinema Showcase held this Saturday at Perpich.
It's going to be about 45 minutes worth of youth-produced work. The curators worked really hard on selecting a variety of work, so there's a mixture of documentary, there's a mixture of animation, PSAs. They wanted to make sure that the audience had an experience that was fun, that also looked at some important issues.
When you become friends with strangers, they want to know more about you.
Students from all over the state in grades 7 through 12 were invited to submit a short film. Awards will go out to the top picks. The students involved say this is a great chance to recognize and celebrate their hard work and the work of other students.
It feels good knowing that I'm not probably making a huge mistake wanting to go into this for my career.
For Weekend Showcase, I'm Renee Bonneau.
The Cinema Showcase is this Saturday at 2 p.m. at Perpich Center in Golden Valley. The event is free and open to the public. It sounds like they have a wide range of topics being covered there.
Getting good experience there, too.
Bring the popcorn. Still ahead, how to get in the good graces of your garden.
But first in sports, find out if the Hopkins baseball team has what it takes to make a return trip to the state tournament this spring. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
John Jacobson with sports now. Yesterday we mentioned the new hockey head coach at Maple Grove High School, and today we got a chance to talk with him. It sounds like he's excited about this.
Yeah, excited to take on a new challenge and take over. And loves hockey. Grew up in hockey. Grew up in Maple Grove, so a great situation for him. As we reported Thursday, Tom Starkey is the new head coach for the Maple Grove boys hockey team. He replaces Gary Stefano, who left the program after 17 years. Jay Wilcox and I talked with 2000 Maple Grove graduate Starkey today about the new job.
There's obviously a pretty strong tradition at Maple Grove hockey already, and you know, we're used to winning quite a bit as it is, and looking forward to raising the bar. And you know, those expectations are, you know, those, to be honest with you, Maple Grove hockey should have the expectations of making the state tournament every year, and that's what we're going to set out to do. It's very special to me to be able, you know, to get a head coaching job at the high school level in Minnesota is a great honor, but to get it at Maple Grove it's you know, you just can't beat it.
After 4 years of playing high school hockey at Maple Grove, Tom skated 4 more years at the Air Force Academy. The 31-year-old Starkey knows there's more scrutiny around the program following an off-ice incident involving some players late in 2012.
One incident cannot be a black eye for the program, you know, forever. That's not what Maple Grove hockey should be known for. They're much better than that, and I know, you know, something like that happens, the media will take a hold of it. But I know deep down that's not what Maple Grove hockey is, and we'll set out this year to prove otherwise.
Starkey says he's met a handful of returning Maple Grove varsity players and will meet with the players and parents in the program later this month. On the college hockey scene, Armstrong High School graduates went 1 for 2 in the Frozen Four semifinals. Number 22 Tommy Fallon's Yale Bulldogs will play for the NCAA title after beating UMass Lowell 3-2 in overtime. Smooth skating defenseman Fallon of Plymouth had 1 shot on goal while logging a lot of ice time. Number 8 Crystal's Corey Thorson and the St. Cloud State Huskies did not fare as well. Huskies fell behind early and never really got back into it in a 4-1 loss to Quinnipiac. Thorson assisted here on the Huskies' only goal and had 2 shots on net. Yale and Quinnipiac play for the title Saturday. The Hopkins baseball team will have an almost entirely new lineup this spring after graduating most of last year's state tournament roster. Jason Malone has a preview of the Royals.
Of the 10 players that started for Hopkins in last year's state tournament, only 1 returns.
We're starting a new guy in every position in the infield and outfield and catcher. So we have a new guy at every position.
Still, the Royals have good numbers and talented players. The question will be how quickly the young guys can adjust to the varsity level.
You know, it's going to be a learning process. A lot of these kids haven't played at this level before, haven't hit at this level, haven't seen this kind of pitching. So it's going to take some time for them to get going. But, you know, I'm excited about the group. They want to get outside. They're hungry for that. But, you know, it'll be a learning curve, but I'm pretty excited for them to get out there and show us what we can do.
As winter continues to drag on, schedules will likely be condensed, forcing teams to play 5, maybe as many as 6 games a week. In that scenario, pitching depth will be crucial.
We can't have 4 pitchers. We're going to have like at least 8 pitchers and injuries are really going to be key to prevent, because if one pitcher gets injured, I feel like our whole rotation will get off and we won't pitch as well as a team.
The Royals do have 2 experienced pitchers in Logan Ottman and Nate Ellis, but to win consistently, they'll have to get quality innings from a stable of young pitchers.
We have weeks now we're looking at 5-6 games. And, you know, usually in a high school season you're playing 3 games a week. You can kind of get away with 3 pitchers. But, you know, we've got 7-8 pitchers we're carrying on our varsity roster, and they're all going to need a pitch.
The Royals know they are a team in transition, but the guys also say this is a tight group with good chemistry.
Personally, I think it might be the most important thing, you know, for the high school sports to have great team chemistry. And, you know, fortunately we do. You know, all the seniors for this team are very, like, including of the younger kids, and we all treat each other like they were the same age, and, you know, it's just a good time.
Now if they could only get outside. Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
Unlike most teams, Hopkins actually has played a game. The Royals shut out Benilde St. Margaret's at the Metrodome last week, and it's just getting tough for everybody. Games are starting to build up now with all the postponements, and we hope for some melting coming up. Who knows?
Once they start playing, it'll be bang, bang, bang.
They'll be playing every day.
Every day, that's right. Thanks, John. Forget the naysayers, see why it's a perfect weekend to put on your running shoes.
Plus, an opportunity to really dig into spring when we come back. The Twin Cities food shelves received a much-needed boost today in Brooklyn Park. Rainbow Foods employees unloaded a semi-truck full of food totaling 26,000 pounds. All of it was donated by Rainbow's parent company, Roundy's. The donations come at an especially critical time when food shelves try to stock up for summer when kids are out of school. Well, despite the snow and ice on the ground, hundreds of runners and walkers will run the valley as scheduled on Saturday morning.
It starts at 8 o'clock with a 10K run from the Brookview Community Center in Golden Valley. Last year, more than 650 people took part. Workers have been out making sure that the course is clear of snow and ice, but the numbers may be a little smaller because of the weather. The run is an important fundraiser for Golden Valley nonprofits like PRISM and the Minneapolis Crisis Nursery. Last year, Run the Valley raised nearly $22,000. For an escape from the cold, check out Plymouth's Yard and Garden Expo this weekend at the Plymouth Creek Center Fieldhouse.
The event features landscape contractors, home remodelers, and a farmer's market. And you can get ideas for the garden and browse a plant sale on Saturday. The expo is open Friday evening at 6 and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Admission is $5 and kids 16 and under are free. And you can do a lot of dreaming about spring.
That's
Hopefully
right.
It's not too far
And
off.
check out some worms there as you saw from the video.
That's right. They can't burrow into the ground.
No.
It's frozen, right? That'll do it. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Community Corner is coming up next.